Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you a very simple question. Every day, you clean your body. You brush your teeth. You wash your face. You change your clothes. You sweep your home. But tell me, do you ever clean your mind? Most of us don't. And that's the problem. Because whether you notice it or not, your mind collects dirt every single day. Small negative thoughts, sad memories, worries about the future, jealousy from scrolling social media, anger from arguments. And like dust in a room, it keeps piling up. Slowly, silently, it makes you feel heavy. You lose focus. You lose peace. You lose yourself. But here is the good news. Just like you clean your body, you can also clean your mind. And you must. A clean mind gives you energy. A clean mind gives you peace. A clean mind makes you stronger, smarter, and happier. In this video, I will show you exactly how to do it. Each chapter will give you one simple but powerful tool. And if you stay with me till the end, you will have a daily system to reset your mind, to remove the dirt, and to feel fresh every single day. So let's begin. Chapter 1. The hidden dirt in your mind. Let's begin with something very important. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you wake up in the morning, but instead of feeling fresh, you already feel tired? You slept for 7 or 8 hours, your body rested, but still, your mind feels heavy. Why does that happen? It happens because your mind collects dirt. And the strange thing is, this dirt is not visible. You can't see it the way you see dust on a table, but you feel it. You feel it in your mood, in your energy, in your focus. Now let me explain. Every single day, from the moment you wake up until the time you go to sleep, your mind is absorbing information. You hear news headlines, most of them negative. You see social media posts, people showing their perfect lives, and you compare yourself. You meet people, some of them kind, but some of them toxic, always complaining, always criticizing. You carry regrets from yesterday and worries for tomorrow. And without knowing, your mind is storing all of this. Piece by piece, thought by thought, it becomes mental junk. Think about this. Imagine your room. Every day, a little bit of dust comes in. If you don't clean it, one day the dust will be so much that you can't breathe properly. That's exactly how the mind works. If you don't clean it, the dirt keeps growing. Now, how does this hidden dirt affect you? Let's look at 3 ways. First, it changes your mood. You wake up happy, but after 5 minutes of scrolling the news, you already feel worried about the world. Or you check social media, and someone else's success makes you feel less. The dirt of comparison and worry enters. Second, it weakens your focus. You sit to study or to work, but your mind is still replaying yesterday's fight or still worrying about tomorrow's bill. You can't give your full energy to the present task because the mind is cluttered. And third, it steals your energy. Have you ever talked to a person who complains for 10 minutes straight? After the conversation, you feel like someone took away your battery. That is the weight of mental dirt. Now let me share a small story with you. This is about my friend, Ollie. One day, Ollie told me, "I don't understand. I sleep well, I eat well, but when I wake up in the morning, I already feel tired." I asked him, "What is the first thing you do after waking up?" He said, "I check my phone. News, messages, social media." I smiled and said, "There is your answer." Before Ollie even brushed his teeth, his mind was already full of dirt. Negative headlines, friends' problems, photos of people who looked happier than him. His body was rested, but his mind was overloaded. That's why he felt tired. And if you think about it, maybe you do the same. Maybe we all do. We carry yesterday's stress, add today's worries, and borrow tomorrow's fears. And then we wonder why we feel heavy. Now, here's something interesting. The mind does not always shout when it is dirty. It whispers. It shows up in small ways. You forget things easily. You get irritated quickly. You feel restless even when nothing is wrong. These are small signs that your mental room is full of dust. Let's take another example. Imagine your computer. If you open too many tabs, install too many apps, and never clear the junk files, what happens? The computer slows down. It freezes. It crashes. The same is true with your mind. When too many thoughts, worries, and regrets are open at the same time, your mind slows down. You can't think clearly. You freeze in important moments. Sometimes, you even crash emotionally. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is simple. You cannot live with a dirty mind and expect to feel peace. Just like you cannot live in a dirty house and expect to feel comfortable. The hidden dirt of the mind silently shapes your whole life. It decides your mood, your focus, your energy. And if you don't clean it, the dirt wins. But here's the good news. You can clean it. You can reset it. And you don't need big, difficult steps. You just need small daily habits. Like mental showers. Simple, clear, powerful. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, I understand that my mind collects dirt. I see how it affects me. But what do I actually do about it? How do I clean it? That's the question. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in the next chapter. Because cleaning the mind is not a one-time thing. It's a daily reset. And the first step of that reset starts tomorrow morning. So stay with me. In the next chapter, we will start with the morning reset, the simplest way to clean your mind before the world fills it with dirt again. Chapter 2. Morning Reset. Start clean, stay clean. Let's talk about mornings. Because the truth is, the way you start your morning decides the quality of your entire day. Think of your mind like a white page. Every morning, you wake up with a fresh page. And the first words you write on that page will color everything that follows. If you start with stress, your whole day will feel heavy. If you start with clarity, your whole day will flow more smoothly. But here's the problem. Most people don't protect their mornings. The very first thing they do, even before standing up from bed, is grab their phone. Maybe you do it too. You check your messages. You open social media. You see news headlines. Within just 5 minutes, your mind is already full. Full of other people's problems, other people's opinions, other people's lives. And without realizing, you lose control of your own mind. Now imagine this. Person A wakes up, and the first thing he sees is his phone. A message from a colleague that says, "We need to talk." His brain instantly feels stress. He scrolls Instagram and sees someone on vacation at the beach, smiling, enjoying life. He compares himself and feels small. Then he checks the news, bad headlines everywhere. His body is still lying in bed, but his mind is already running, already worrying. By the time he gets up, his fresh page is already full of scribbles and dirt. His day begins not with clarity, but with confusion. Now let's imagine person B. She wakes up, and for the first 10 minutes, she doesn't touch her phone. She sits in silence, just breathing, letting her mind wake up slowly. She feels the morning air. She listens to the quiet around her. Then she takes a small notebook and writes down whatever thoughts come to her mind. Her worries, her plans, her random ideas. She pours them out like water. And after 10 minutes, she feels light, clear, and ready. Her page is clean. Her day starts with strength, not stress. Do you feel the difference? Two people, same world, same morning, but two completely different experiences because of how they chose to begin. This is the power of a morning reset. And it only takes two simple habits, silence and writing. The first habit is silence. Just 5 minutes. No phone, no talking, no rushing. Just sit, breathe, and let your mind settle. Silence is like a mental shower. Imagine going to work without brushing your teeth or washing your face. You wouldn't feel ready, right? In the same way, if you begin your day without silence, your mind stays foggy, dirty, unprepared. Silence clears that fog. It gives you space before the world fills your head with noise. The second habit is writing down your thoughts. And this is even more powerful because your brain is like a crowded room. Every idea, every worry, every reminder is shouting inside. Writing is like opening the door and letting them out. You don't need to write perfectly. You don't even need full sentences. Just write what's on your mind. I have to finish this project. I'm worried about the exam. I feel grateful for my family. I want to eat healthier today. When you write, you move the clutter from your head to the paper. You create mental space. Now let me give you a story to make this real. A young student I know, let's call her Aisha, always struggled with focus. She said, I sit to study, but my mind keeps running everywhere. I think about my phone, my friends, my future. I waste hours. I told her, try this. Tomorrow morning, spend 5 minutes in silence. Then write down everything on your mind before you study. She agreed, though she didn't believe it would work. 1 week later, she came back smiling. I can't believe it, she said. When I start my morning this way, my whole day feels different. My thoughts are clear. I'm less distracted. I study better. That small change transformed her focus. And she's not the only one. Many CEOs, leaders, and creative people use the same morning reset. They protect their mornings because they know the mind is most powerful when it is clean. And I want you to understand something very important here. Your mind deserves a shower every morning. Just like you would never step out of the house without washing your face, you should never step into the day without cleansing your mind. Silence is the water. Writing is the soap. Together, they wash away the dirt and prepare you for the day ahead. Now maybe you're thinking, but I don't have time in the morning. Let me tell you, 5 minutes is enough. Wake up 5 minutes earlier if you need to, because those 5 minutes will give you back hours of focus later in the day. This is not extra time wasted. This is investment. It multiplies. And here's the best part. You don't need anything special. Just yourself, your breath, and a notebook. That's it. No expensive courses. No complicated tools. Just silence and writing. So let me ask you, tomorrow morning, what will you choose? Will you choose the dirty start, scrolling through chaos? Or will you choose the clean start, protecting your mind with silence and writing? The choice is simple, but the difference is life-changing. But remember, mornings are only the beginning. Cleaning your mind once in the morning is powerful, but it's not enough. Because during the day, dirt keeps coming back. Worries return. Stress builds. Negativity enters. That's why, to keep your mind clean, you need something even more powerful, something that works all day long, not just in the morning. And that powerful tool is gratitude. So in the next chapter, I'll show you how gratitude works like a vacuum cleaner for the mind, removing the dirt, pulling out the negativity, and keeping your inner space light no matter what happens around you. Chapter 3. Gratitude, the mental vacuum cleaner. Now that you understand the power of mornings, let's talk about something even deeper, something that keeps your mind clean all day long. And that is gratitude. I like to call gratitude the mental vacuum cleaner. Why? Because the mind, by default, is not designed to stay peaceful. It is designed to stay safe. Let me explain. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors lived in dangerous jungles. There were wild animals, poisonous plants, sudden storms. To survive, the human brain had to constantly look for danger. If you heard a small sound in the bushes, your brain would say, "Careful, maybe it's a snake." If the sky turned dark, your brain would say, "Run, maybe a storm is coming." That danger bias kept us alive. But here's the problem. Today, we don't live in jungles anymore. We live in cities, homes, schools, offices. Yet the brain is still wired the same way. It still looks for what's wrong. That's why you can have 10 good things happen to you in a day, but your brain will remember the one bad comment, the one small mistake, the one worry. It is not your fault. It is biology. But here is the good news. You can retrain your brain. And the tool to do that is gratitude. Gratitude is like telling your brain, "Yes, I see the danger, but I also choose to see the good." It doesn't erase the problems, but it balances them. It removes the dirt of negativity, just like a vacuum cleaner sucks up dust. Let me give you an example. Imagine a soldier in a war zone. Every day, he hears gunshots, sees destruction, feels fear. His mind is heavy with danger. But one night, after a long day, he writes in his journal, "Today I am grateful I am still alive. I am grateful my friend beside me is safe. I am grateful I could see the stars in the sky for 5 minutes." That gratitude doesn't stop the war, but it gives his mind a little space to breathe, a little light to hold on to. It keeps him human, even in chaos. Or take another example, closer to everyday life. A student goes through a painful breakup. She feels lost, rejected, empty. The brain naturally keeps repeating the pain. Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Will I ever be happy again? It becomes heavy, dark. But if she trains herself to find even the smallest gratitude, the weight begins to lift. Maybe she writes, "I am grateful for my best friend who listens to me. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful I have a chance to start fresh." That doesn't erase the heartbreak, but it stops her mind from breaking completely. Gratitude becomes the bridge that carries her from despair to hope. This is why gratitude is not just a nice idea. It is survival for the modern mind. It is a tool that keeps you balanced when the brain wants to focus only on danger. Now, you may ask, how do I practice gratitude? And the answer is simple. Make it a small, daily habit. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. That's it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for big miracles. Gratitude is not about grand moments. It's about small ones. Maybe you write, "I am grateful for the tea I drank this morning. I am grateful for the smile of a stranger. I am grateful that I have eyes to read this, ears to hear music, a bed to sleep in." Some days, it will feel easy. Other days, it will feel impossible. But even on the darkest day, if you can find one thing, just one thing, to be grateful for, then your mind can never fully break. Gratitude becomes your anchor, your reminder that there is still light even when everything feels dark. I want you to really feel this. Gratitude is not about ignoring your pain. It's about holding your pain in one hand, but also holding your blessings in the other. When you do this, your mind becomes stronger, lighter, cleaner. Let me share one more story with you. A famous entrepreneur once said that during the hardest time of his business, when everything was failing, he thought he would lose his company. Every day was stress, meetings, and bad news. He admitted, "The only thing that kept me sane was my gratitude journal. Every night, no matter how bad the day, I forced myself to write 3 things I was grateful for. Some days, all I could write was, 'I am alive. I have food. I can breathe.' But even that kept me going. That habit didn't solve his problems immediately, but it gave him the strength to keep fighting until he succeeded." So, my dear friend, understand this. Gratitude is not just positive thinking. It is mental training. It is rewiring your brain. It is cleaning the daily dirt of negativity. It is your mental vacuum cleaner. And now I want to leave you with this thought. If you want a mind that stays light, peaceful, and unbreakable, then practice gratitude daily. Don't wait. Start today, tonight. Before you sleep, write 3 things you are grateful for. They can be small. They can be ordinary. But they will clean your mind. They will give you peace. And they will prepare you for tomorrow. Because remember, if you can find one thing to be grateful for even in chaos, your mind can never fully break. But gratitude, as powerful as it is not the final step. Because sometimes the mess is not only inside your mind, it is also around you. Your environment, your room, your desk, your physical space can add to your mental dirt. And if the outside is cluttered, the inside will always struggle. That's why in the next chapter, we move from the mind to the body, from the inner to the outer, from thoughts to space. Because to truly live with a clean mind, you must also clean your environment. Chapter 4. Declutter your space, declutter your mind. Let's talk about something we often ignore. Not the inside of your mind, but the world around you. Because here's the truth. Your space is a mirror of your mind. A messy desk creates messy thoughts. A cluttered room creates a cluttered mood. And on the other hand, when your space is clean, your thoughts feel lighter, sharper, calmer. Think about it. Have you ever tried to study or work at a desk full of papers, wrappers, coffee cups, tangled wires? You sit down, but your brain feels restless. You can't focus. It's like the mess around you becomes noise inside you. Then compare it to the times you worked at a clean desk. Just your notebook, your pen, maybe a glass of water. Suddenly, the same brain feels calmer, more focused, more ready. This is no coincidence. This is the mirror effect. Outer clutter creates inner clutter. Outer order creates inner order. Let me give you a story. A young student once told me, "No matter how much I study, I feel stressed. My room feels heavy." When I visited, I saw the problem instantly. His desk was covered in random books, sticky notes, old snacks. The floor had clothes piled up. Even his bed was filled with scattered items. I said to him, "Let's try something simple. Before studying, clear just your desk. Nothing else. Just give me 10 minutes." We started picking up books, stacking them neatly. We threw away the trash. We folded the paper lying around. In less than 10 minutes, the desk looked clean. He sat down again, opened his book, and then he smiled. "I feel different already," he said. "My brain feels lighter." That is the magic of physical decluttering. It creates instant mental space. And here's the science behind it. Your brain is always processing your environment, even if you don't notice it. Every item you see is a piece of information. So when your room is full of clutter, your brain is secretly trying to process all of it at once. That paper is unfinished. That shirt needs folding. That cup needs washing. You don't think these thoughts out loud, but your brain feels them in the background. That's why clutter feels heavy. When you declutter, you free your brain. Now let's get practical. How can you keep your space clean every day without feeling overwhelmed? Let me share 3 simple tools. 1. The one-touch rule. This is simple. Whatever you touch, finish it in one touch. If you pick up your shirt, don't drop it on the chair, put it back in the closet. If you take a plate to eat, don't leave it on the desk, wash it immediately. One touch. Done. This habit saves you from building clutter mountains. 2. Morning and night reset ritual. Every morning, before starting your day, spend 5 minutes resetting your space. Clear your desk. Open the window. Make your bed. That way, your day begins in order. And at night, do the same. Reset before sleeping. This way, you never let clutter grow. Imagine how peaceful it feels to wake up to a room already clean, already ready for you. 3. The staging box. This one is for when you're really busy. Keep a box in your room. Whenever you don't have time to organize, just put everything into that box. Later, when you have time, you can sort it out. This keeps your main space clear, so your brain doesn't drown in clutter. It's like a quick clean button. Now let's come back to the spike moment. I want you to feel this. Even 10 minutes of cleaning physical space creates mental space. 10 minutes of folding clothes, clearing your desk, or wiping the table can make you feel like a new person. It's like giving your brain room to breathe again. You don't need a whole day, just 10 minutes. And here's something powerful. Decluttering your space is also a form of self-respect. It's like saying, I deserve to live in a place that gives me peace, not stress. I deserve to work in an environment that supports me, not distracts me. Every time you clean, you are reminding yourself of your own worth. Let me share one last story. A young woman preparing for her exams was always anxious. She thought the problem was her memory or her concentration. But when we looked deeper, the real problem was her room. It was chaotic. I told her, try this experiment. Before studying, take 10 minutes to clean your space. She did. And later she told me, I didn't just clean my room. I cleaned my anxiety. My mind feels quieter now. She passed her exams with flying colors. So remember this. Declutter your space. Declutter your mind. A clean space is not just about beauty. It's about mental health. It's about energy. It's about peace. But even when your room is clean, another problem remains. And this one is even bigger. Because sometimes, the real clutter is not around you in objects. It's around you in information. Notifications, emails, messages, endless scrolling. That is the next enemy. So in the next chapter, we will talk about information overload. Because your mind is not only drowning in physical mess, but also in digital mess. And if you don't learn how to control it, even the cleanest room cannot save your focus. Chapter 5. Guarding the gates. Controlling what enters your mind. Let me ask you something. If you were hungry, would you eat food that had poison in it? Of course not. You would throw it away instantly. You know that eating toxic food will damage your body. But here's the strange part. We often feed our minds with poison every single day, without even realizing it. News headlines filled with fear. Social feeds full of comparison. Random gossip. Angry arguments online. We consume them like snacks. We scroll and scroll and scroll. And then we wonder why our mind feels heavy, anxious, restless. The truth is simple. Your mind becomes what you feed it. If you eat junk food, your body suffers. If you consume junk information, your mind suffers. Let me share a story you might relate to. A young man had a habit of checking his phone every night before bed. He thought it was harmless, but his routine looked like this. He would open Twitter or news apps, scroll through disasters, tragedies, arguments, political fights, celebrity scandals. His brain absorbed all of it right before sleep. Then he would turn off the light, close his eyes, and wonder, why do I feel so anxious? Why can't I sleep? The answer was clear. He was doom scrolling. He was feeding his brain toxic food at the most sensitive time of day. Now imagine a different version of him. This time, before bed, instead of doom scrolling, he opens a simple gratitude journal. He reads a calming book, maybe a page of wisdom, or even listens to soft, uplifting audio. He falls asleep with his mind filled not with chaos, but with peace. The difference is huge. One mind goes to bed poisoned. The other goes to bed nourished. Which do you think wakes up happier, lighter, and clearer the next day? This is the power of guarding the gates. Because your mind has gates, your eyes, your ears, your attention. And whatever you allow through these gates will shape your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy. If you guard the gates, you control the quality of your inner life. If you don't, the world will throw garbage inside, and you will pay the price. So how do we guard the gates in a practical way? Let me share 3 rules with you. Rule 1. Viewing windows. Decide when you will consume information instead of letting it invade you all day. For example, check the news only once in the morning, not 20 times. Use social media in 2 small windows, maybe afternoon and evening, instead of every free second. By limiting your windows, you create boundaries. You take back control. Rule 2. The 3 gates. Before allowing anything into your mind, ask 3 questions. 1. The 3 gates. Before allowing anything into your mind, ask 3 questions. 1. Is it true? Not everything online is real. Why let lies pollute your brain? 2. Is it useful? Does this information help me, teach me, or guide me? If not, why waste space? 3. Is it mine to act on? Many things may be true and real, but if you cannot do anything about them, why carry that burden? If the answer to these 3 questions is no, close the gate. Don't let it in. Rule 3. Replace noise with nourishment. It's not enough to block toxic input. You must also feed your brain good input. Replace gossip with wisdom. Replace endless feeds with inspiring podcasts, uplifting books, or educational videos. When you replace noise with nourishment, your mind slowly begins to heal. Now let me give you a spike, something I want you to really feel deep inside. Your brain is like a garden. If you keep pouring dirty water, don't expect clean flowers. You can meditate, you can journal, you can practice gratitude. But if you keep filling your mind with garbage every day, peace will always be temporary. To grow clean flowers, you must pour clean water. Guarding your gates is that clean water. I want you to try something starting today. For just 1 week, create boundaries. No phone for the first hour after waking up, and no phone for the last hour before sleep. Use those hours for silence, writing, gratitude, or even just deep breathing. After 7 days, notice how different your mind feels. You will feel lighter, calmer, more focused. You will feel like you have space inside you again. Because here's the truth. Your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If you guard it, you live well. If you give it away, the world will control you. But let me warn you, even if you guard your gates perfectly, there is still one more danger left. Sometimes, The poison is not from outside news or social media. It comes from inside. From old wounds. From pain we never forgave. From memories we never healed. And this poison can sit inside for years, quietly shaping your mind, your relationships, your peace. So in the next chapter, we go deeper. We talk about the one enemy that can remain even after all the cleaning, the poison of unforgiven pain. Chapter 6. The final cleanse, forgiveness and letting go. We've cleaned our mornings. We've practiced gratitude. We've decluttered our space. We've guarded the gates of our mind. But even after all of this, there's still one kind of dirt that refuses to go away easily. It's not from your room. It's not from your phone. It's not from the news. It's much older, much deeper. It's the weight of resentment. Resentment is like dust that settles inside the corners of your heart. You don't always see it, but you feel it. It makes your chest heavy. It steals your joy quietly. It can stay for years, even decades. And here's the truth. Resentment is mental clutter. It takes up space in your mind that could be filled with peace, creativity, love, or clarity. Think about it. How many times do you replay an old argument in your head? How often do you relive what someone said or did to you years ago? The pain keeps looping like a broken record. That's resentment. It is your mind holding on to past dirt. And as long as you hold it, your present can never feel clean. But here's something important. Forgiveness does not mean saying, what they did was okay. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean letting them back into your life. Forgiveness means something else. It means saying, what you did hurt me, but I will no longer let it control me. I release you, not for your sake, but for mine. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is a deep cleanse. Let me share a story. An entrepreneur I once knew was extremely talented. He had ideas, skills, and vision. But for years, his projects failed. He was stuck. He always felt blocked, like something was holding him back. When I spoke to him, I asked, "Is there someone in your past who betrayed you?" He froze. Then he said yes. Years ago, his closest friend had stolen his idea and started a company behind his back. He felt betrayed, humiliated, and angry. From that day, he carried the weight of bitterness. He thought, I will never forgive him. But that decision cost him his own freedom. His mind was filled with anger. Every new project he started was haunted by the same thought. What if someone betrays me again? His creativity was chained by resentment. One day, he tried something simple. He sat down with a notebook and wrote an unsent letter. In that letter, he wrote everything: his pain, his anger, his disappointment. Every raw word poured out. And at the end, he wrote one final line: I release this for my peace. He never sent the letter. He didn't need to. It was not for the other person. It was for himself. Something shifted inside him. The chains began to break. Slowly, his energy returned. His focus returned. And soon after, his work began to succeed. Why? Because forgiveness freed the mental space that resentment had been occupying. He no longer gave free rent in his mind to someone who had hurt him. And this brings me to an emotional spike I want you to carry with you. Every time you hold on to anger, you're renting space in your mind to someone who doesn't deserve it. Why give your peace, your energy, your focus to the very people who harmed you? That's like letting the thief live in your house rent-free. Forgiveness is changing the locks and kicking them out, not for their sake, but for yours. Now, how do you practice this final cleanse? Let me give you a simple ritual. Find a quiet space. Take a notebook or a piece of paper. Write a letter to the person you cannot forgive. Write everything, your pain, your anger, your sadness. Don't hold back. This is your private space. When you finish, write these words at the end. I release this for my peace. Then fold the paper. You can burn it, tear it, or simply keep it hidden away. But remember, the power is not in sending it. The power is in saying, I refuse to carry this anymore. You might need to do this more than once. That's okay. Forgiveness is not always one moment. Sometimes it's a process. But every time you repeat it, you are sweeping away more dust. You are giving yourself more freedom. And here's the beautiful part. When you forgive, you create new space inside you. Space for joy, space for focus, space for love, space for peace. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is strength. It's the strongest form of cleaning you can give your mind. So now, take a deep breath. Think of the weight you've been carrying. And ask yourself, do I really want to keep holding this? Or do I want to feel light again? The choice is always yours. And that brings us to the closing truth. Cleaning your mind isn't one action. It's not just silence or gratitude or decluttering or guarding the gates or forgiveness. It's all of them together as a daily practice. Just like you shower every day, your mind also deserves a shower every day. And when you give it that care, your life becomes lighter, clearer, and freer. If you've stayed with me until now, it means something inside you is ready for change. You've realized that your mind is your true home. Not your house, not your room, your mind. And like every home, it collects dust every single day. That's why it needs cleaning. Not once a year, not once a month, but daily. Silence in the morning, gratitude during the day, forgiveness at night. These are not theories, these are tools. Simple tools you can use starting today. You don't have to do them all at once. Begin with one, add another tomorrow, and slowly, cleaning your mind will feel as natural as brushing your teeth. And here's the beautiful part. As you clean your mind, you are also practicing your English. Every new word you hear, every sentence you understand, every thought you repeat in English, it all strengthens you, not just in language, but in life. So now I ask you, if this video gave you even one spark of clarity, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe right now, like the video, and comment below, which habit will you start today? Silence, gratitude, decluttering, or forgiveness? I read every comment, and I want to know your answer. Because here on this channel, we are not just learning English. We are learning how to live with peace, clarity, and strength. So join me, stay with me, and let's keep building this journey together.